So let me start off by saying I have zero contact with the developers. I have no information about the future updates of the game's development. With that out of the way, let's dive into the concept of tiers tied to prestige levels. Start off with tier one, and in tier one, we either do the breakpoint at like 15 to like 25 prestige levels. I don't know, somewhere in between that. We use all the same exact weapons that are currently inside the game right now. So every weapon that we have available now is basically going to be tier 1. So instead of just scrapping it or changing them or removing them out of the game, we use them. So then they're in tier 1. And then in tier 2, we have a, well, I don't know, like 45, let's just say, prestige. And then this would be all the tier 1 weapons that are slightly modified to be not quite energy weapons, but like kind of close to them. And then we can also unlock at tier 2 basic body modifications. So then at this point, this break point in tier 2 should allow us to have like body modifications, which they already talked about. That's already going to be added into the game later on. They said in an interview Q&A. And like, so like the body modifications are like cyborg arms, legs, and shit like that, like very hacked together, and it almost feels like experimental, right? So it's like I'd want something like that for tier 2 weapons and like the body modifications. And then what if we added subclass systems where you could spec into different factions armor types? It could be like purely cosmetic or like provide like bonus based on the armor type you're wearing. Like for example, if you're wearing Eurasian armor, it could reduce the detection between other Eurasian troops, enabling more stealth gameplay. Like imagine having a map. Well, you don't need to imagine. We already have these maps, like Scorched Enclave and Ashen Mesa, where you need like to be super stealthy to kill like a high value target. This like the what the fuck is it? Eurasian Commander. He's like pretty soft target. So you can have that and do like a stealth takedown version of that, and you can like sneak past like certain maps that have like the same faction as you. But then like the drawbacks for the armor would be like increasing the aggro range, which we know it's already possible to do, for the opposing factions that are not in line with that faction that you're wearing. That's just a little thought into tier 2. And then we get into the juicy part, tier 3. Now, this should be the pinnacle, featuring energy weapons, the best damage dealing weapons, the best utility weapons, obviously, with high quality armor. This is another thing I wanted to talk about, like advanced body modifications and upgrades for like characters like Gunhead. Dude, okay, this would be really funny if they added Gunhead to be able to incorporate human flesh onto him as an upgrade, as an armor type. I think that would be funny. This like so he can blend in with like human factions, if that kind of makes sense, like scabs more, or like water thieves, almost like the alien from Men in Black, the cockroach that's wearing the face, something like that. That'd be fucking hilarious. For Gunhead, as you notice, once you obtained high tier gear, what's the end game? A potential idea is base defense. Now, they've already added this in the new Water 2.0 update. So having water bots go out to the outside the innards, come back with water, attracts water thieves. That makes it able to, for your innards, sorry, to be raided. So then they also added sentry guns at the same time. Now, personally, I find base defense games hard to enjoy unless they're like exceptionally well designed. Another possibility could be implementing world tiers, where like the higher tiers introduce more higher tier mobs, like tier 2 mobs or tier 3, and like so on and so forth. Like asset relocation, so like you can distinguish between if whether someone's running a tier 2 scorched enclave or they're running a tier 3 scorched enclave, right? And in between, and on, so forth and so on. And maybe even changing the layouts of the maps as well. That would be interesting. Another area to explore, right? A rig builder, something will allow players to design rigs for vary sizes, like small, medium, extra large, or large and extra large, uh, and customized layout modules. This could lead to like some creativity and like some hilarious design. Something like a super wide arm like backpack, or then like a super tall one. That could be very fucking funny. I'd love to see like the custom rigs because they're basically built like Legos already. So I would like to be able to like rearrange certain things because like there is some modules that I think it's the big open cases that allow you to carry like those enclosed boxes. I forget what they're called. Storage boxes. Lock. The ones that let you allow to get locked boxes. Okay, so those modules. They have upgrades so they can have a chance to block or out. Is it reflect or block? I can't remember. They have a chance to they have a chance to ricochet bullets. So I would like to like uh, rearrange those. So like maybe I'm always I treat my rig more like a shield, like facing the left side. So every time I get engaged into enemies, I kind of like always. Oh Jesus Christ! I hit my desk. Turn to the left, and then they can just soak up the shield, right? So it kind of acts like a shield almost, but it's not a shield. It's a rig, obviously. But I would love the idea of like switching things around. That would be very cool. Finally, let's talk about invulnerable mobs. This is a pretty hot topic for you guys. I've seen a lot in the Reddit, or they're more like bosses, right? I guess. I like the idea of having like a looming threat on the map that players can either avoid or interact with strategically. For example, you could blind or CC the mob, targeting like weak points or using like specific items like a giant bone for like the big dog that can chase you down. Or you can use the I don't know, like another example would be the sand thumper from Dune to attract like the big sandworms, like something like that. That type of mechanic would be very cool, and it will be able to distract the mob or CC the mob blind. It goes on and so forth. These mechanics will like add so much more depth to the game and the player choice to encounter whether or not they want to deal with this invulnerable mob, because I feel like there needs to be more interaction with the player and the mob. I feel like just being scared of it and avoiding it isn't quite as fun as like being able to like kite it out, move it to a different area, CC it there, and then grab the loot, run out, and then the mob comes alive again or like repairs and then patrols back. Like that would be very cool to see, like some sort of mechanic like that. That's all for now. What do you think the end game should look like? Drop your thoughts on in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and thanks for hanging out with me today. Catch you in the next one.